welcome to Wait Guess What. We have a new episode today. We're going to be talking about domestic violence. I am here by myself. Well, not really by myself. My husband is actually in the room with me. The girls are taking a well-deserved break. We're practicing social distancing and quarantine. They are hard at work, so they're taking a little break. They work a lot more than I do. I only work like one day and they work 40 hours a week. They're working very hard to keep people safe. Let me just tell you that people do not want to be kept safe. So it's been very, very difficult, but we're doing the best we can. I was thinking about it because of the pandemic and how everyone's quarantined and how some people are quarantined with their abusers or aggressors. And it's kind of frightening, like especially with like children that are in like abusive homes. I can't imagine having to be quarantined and stuck in that same roof and like under the same roof as your. So this is why I wanted to do it. I just wanted to see maybe my domestic violence story resonates with someone and it helps someone out there. I wanted my husband to be here with me for the same reason, just so maybe he feels like jumping in and talking about it with me. Because we did go through a lot in a short period of time. I wanted to start my story by talking about my childhood first. I did grow up in a very violent home. My grandpa used to beat my grandmother like really, really bad. I've heard so many stories of it. I never saw it like with my grandma. He used to hit us, but also like éramos bien traviesos, so I kind of don't blame him. But yeah, when he would hit us, it was bad. I know he did get very violent with my dad and like his sons and my grandma again. I don't know. My dad, I guess, growing up in that environment, was also a very violent person. He and my mom would get in really, really bad fights. When he hit us, it was very like, it wasn't like a nalgada or a manazo. It was like he would hit us. They would always fight and argue, scream, and like they were very verbal and physically abusive to each other. Also me and my brother, we used to fight like almost like to kill each other. It was very like I know I was very annoying when I was little. Like I'm very well aware. And he did not have any patience for me. So everything I did was like very annoying to him. So he would beat the shit out of me. Like he would literally put me in a corner and just like beat on me. One time, I don't know where we were fighting. We were fighting somewhere around the house, and I ran to my room to like get on the door because that was like literally like when I wasn't able to like hit him back anymore, where he was just beating me. I had to run into my room, lock myself in my room, and he would like try to break the door open. One time he went and got a knife and ran it under the door just so he can keep hitting me. Like that's how much we fought. Violent aggression is something that that's all I knew growing up. I was in 2 relationships before my husband. The first relationship, it was, I don't even call it abusive. It was just like, I don't even know why I was there, honestly. But the way it ended is it was Christmas Day or it was Christmas Eve, and he and his friend had been doing drugs like all day long, and then I went to sleep, and then all of a sudden he's screaming at me and hitting me. So what had happened was, I guess they went in the room where we stayed. I was asleep. His friend was touching me while I was asleep. And he kicked his friend out, but he started hitting me. I'm guessing he thought that I was awake and I was letting it happen. But like, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? He kicked me out. I went like, this was in Mexico. I was in San Luis. I would just walk down the freaking road and I found some people outside. They were in a party and they called the cops for me. The cops took me to my aunt's house, to my Aunt Silvia's house. Those freaking cops, they were laughing at me. They were like talking to each other, like making comments about me, and they were laughing at me, and I was like, motherfuckers.
In Mexico?
Yeah, in Mexico. Yeah.
Fuck the police.
Hi, Chris.
Sorry.
It's okay, you can say that, it's just funny. So they got me to my aunt's house, which whatever, it's fine. They did their job, I guess. The second relationship, I was there. It was longer than the first one. He was twice my age. He also had drug problems because apparently I didn't learn my lesson the first time. So I repeated that same lesson. In the beginning of the relationship, he was never physically abusive. He was more of like mental abusive. He didn't like me to work. He said he never kept me from working, but he also made it very hard for me to work. He was always talking shit and making comments and like being rude and like I just fucking hate when people do that to me. He would do that to me a lot. So in the end, I would just give up and not work. I was always locked up in my house eating. I was like in the heaviest like the first like year, 2 years of that relationship, I was like the heaviest I've ever been, because I was like so depressed that I was just like cooked up at home. I couldn't do anything. I didn't have a car. I barely went to see my family. Like I wouldn't go, because if I wanted to go, like I wanted to go for like a day or two, stay over, and he didn't like that. He would just like bitch and moan and piss, and like I was just, oh, he made like I wasn't seeing my family. I was locked up all the freaking time, depressed. And then when he got really bad, where he was like doing drugs like a lot, he just stopped working. I couldn't work. He wouldn't work, and then he wouldn't let me work. It would make it very hard. We ended up moving back to Mexico, and the funny thing is, like I said, like I didn't learn my lesson the first time. We ended up even in the same barrio. Like we lived in the same place where I lived with the other person too, like in La Aviación. It was like blocks away, and I was like, what the fuck? It was literally the only house I found in all of San Luis. I looked and looked and looked. That's why it's so funny to me, like saying like I didn't learn my lesson the first time. I had to repeat the lesson. I ended up in the same situation, in the same place, everything. It's so weird how life works. Anyways, he was on drugs a lot more. He stopped working. He stopped providing. He stopped paying rent. We were about to be thrown out on the street, and that's when I decided to leave. The ways I was abusive in those relationships, with the first one, I don't feel like I was. I feel like I was very dumb. I wasn't myself. I would just not argue with him, just to not hear him, and the more I argue with him, the more he like argued back and talk shit. So it was easier just to shut the fuck up and let him be mad and do whatever he wants. He also didn't provide, which I think not providing for your significant other, like if you take responsibility of getting a wife or a husband, or not getting a wife or a husband, but like you have a responsibility to provide if you're not making it hard for people to work. He also didn't provide. I feel like that's also a form of abuse. When you're not providing the necessities, at least, that's a form of abuse. With the second one, I did put my hands on him a couple times, but that was when he was so drugged up. Like I said, he never put his hand on me, but he was very verbally abusive. He would say really like weird, mean things, and I would just be pissed at every situation like we were put in, because it wasn't when we were in Mexico, it wasn't the first time we were without a home. It was like the third time. It's just that one was like the last one for me. I would scream. Oh, I scream at him. Like I feel bad now, because the way I treated him, like in the end, it was really, really bad. Also, like it had a lot to do with like that's when my dad passed away. It was literally like the day we were leaving to Mexico that my dad had his accident, and like a couple days later is when they disconnected him. So I wasn't processing feelings and emotions how I should be. I was very distraught. It was very, very hard for me, and he wasn't there for me. Like literally, the day that we buried him, I came back and he was gone for like 3 days. And that's also something he would do. He would just like take off for days on end and literally like just leave me alone with no money, no food, and me and the dogs, because we had dogs, and he wouldn't show up for days, and I didn't know what was happening or where he was. And also that I was just like over. So I finished that relationship. With Chris, we've been married for don't laugh. With Chris, we've been married for 5 years now. We met at work, and at first we were fine. Like we would argue, we would fight, but it wasn't like extreme. I don't feel like it was extreme. The first year was really hard because we were really getting to know each other. But it was fine. Like we were good for the longest time. I think it got really bad after we had a miscarriage. It was our first pregnancy. I think we didn't handle it well. I know I didn't handle it. I was like, my anxiety went through the roof, because I've always dealt with anxiety. But my anxiety after that went through the roof. I couldn't concentrate. Like I was just not me. I think because the way it happened, like literally finding out I was pregnant and then losing a baby within like an hour and a half took an emotional toll on me that I never expected. So I was having a hard time with that. I don't think Chris had as hard time, because I don't know if he just closed himself off, but he just didn't think about it. Or maybe I was just overthinking it. Like, but literally that's all I could think about for the longest time.
I don't know. I don't think I feel like I closed myself off. I just feel like, like I just chose to forget. Because why dwell? It's something that sucked for me too. I don't know. It happened, so the faster I can forget, the faster that I can heal and be there for you more strongly.
Well, I didn't. I dwelled on it every single day. And then after like like 2-3 weeks later, or no, it was longer, huh? Before the doctor gave me medicine.
Yeah.
This is where the hospitals and clinics and stuff fail us, because it takes forever to get appointments and it takes forever to get results. So I wasn't even, after the miscarriage, I wasn't even able to see the doctor because I didn't go to the hospital. Like, I already knew it was like there was nothing I could do anymore. I didn't feel like going to the hospital. I made an appointment the next day. I actually got an appointment the next day, and then the doctor, she's like, oh, I'm gonna put you on all this medication. To get the medication, it took like 3 months. Because when did it happen? Like October, November? I don't even remember. I think it was like October.
It was like November, December.
Really? I thought it was October. Because remember I started doing the nutritionist in December? And that was like good month, 2 months after. I didn't get to see the doctor until 3 months later. They gave me this medication. It was a generic version of Provera. And if you guys have ever been on hormone medication, you know that shit fucks you up. Anything to do with your hormones or like birth control or anything, it messes you up for like the longest time. Before this, I literally hadn't had a period for like 10 years. So being very low on hormones and then all of a sudden getting jacked up, I was not handling it well. I would take the pill and like literally an hour later, I was raging. Like raging. I was angry.
And you were already emotional before that.
Yeah, and I was already emotional from dealing with the miscarriage and everything that happened after that. So I was not handling my emotions well. I tried to explain to Chris, like, you know, leave me alone. It's not me. I'm very, like, angry for no reason. I understand, but, like, it's not me. It's the medication. Just let it go. I don't even think I explained it that well to you, huh?
No, but, like, I did see, like, how emotional you were before all the medication. But for me, like, I kind of failed you, too, because I feel like I didn't know how to handle it because I've never experienced it.
It was...
Just not knowing what to do at first, like, was probably more of our problems that we had, you know, thought about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I tried to tell you, like, don't listen to me, ignore me, like, it's not me. And he was so hurt by my reactions. Like, I couldn't, honestly, I could not talk to him like a little bit of tone, or if I was like rude, but he felt it was coming out of nowhere. So that was his problem. That he felt like he didn't deserve to be talked to that way, and that I was being disrespectful, and that was like just being mean to be mean. He did not understand that it wasn't me. It was like my raging hormones. Just like give me some space. And that's why we ended up fighting, because he wanted me to apologize to him and like make sure that his feelings were met. But then when I asked for like space, like, you know, I'm mad, don't talk to me, he couldn't do it either.
Like the only time I knew how to be there for you was like when you felt sad or depressed. But other than that, like, not understanding the other emotions, like, and why, like, I feel like that's where, that's why I said I failed you at. But now, like, looking back and learning about all of this crap, I feel like I know what to do, better, and cope with it better.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes us, like, stronger and why we're still together.
With those fights, at first, Mark wanted to have these conversations about his feelings with me because of the way I was treating him. The last thing I wanted to do while angry was talk to him. Like, I literally just wanted him to leave me alone, stop talking, and I wanted to go in the room and lock myself in there for the rest of the day. He would not let me do that. He wanted to have a conversation right then and there, and he would get in my face and he would say very mean things and be very threatening with his body language. He never put his hands on me, but he was very threatening and aggressive with his body language and with his words. He would even get on his toes just so he can tower over me and scream at me and talk shit. Don't make faces. That's what he would do. As soon as he would start doing that, like, my anxiety went through the roof. And now that I think about it, I know it's because, like, when Juan used to corner me in a room to beat me up, or he would just, like, trap me so he can hit me, as soon as Chris would start doing that, I would lose my shit. And at first it started with just, like, pushing him away. Chris over here, he likes to just jump right back up and get in my face. And that's what he would do. Like, he would just, like, I would push him away. He would just jump back and scream and scream and scream and scream. We weren't giving each other what we needed. He just wanted me to understand him and understand his feelings. And all I wanted was to be left alone. And we wouldn't do that for each other. So it just escalated. And it started from pushing to, like, slapping, punching. And, like, it just got worse and worse and worse. Our breaking point was when we were getting in a fight. Remember, I was getting ready for work? And it was like the stupidest thing ever, don't you think?
Yeah, very, very stupid.
We were arguing because I was getting ready for work and I was wearing like this bra that didn't fit me that good. And he would get mad because like he's like, oh, you're gonna be fixing yourself in front of the customers and you're just gonna be like touching your boobs and trying to fix your bra, and he was mad for that. And I was like, no, I got it. Like I'm gonna wear this undershirt, and he didn't understand because I didn't really say that. It's like, no, I got it. I think that's what I said. And I pulled out this shirt and he kept trying to pull it out of my arms, and I'm like, dude, just let me get ready. I have to go to work. Chris had this habit of every time I had to go to work or go see my mom or go do something, he would just start picking fights with me. So he was like trying to yank it out of my arms, and he started getting aggressive and screaming and like getting in my face. And I just like I had literally just taken the medication, It was like It was like 30 minutes after my medication where I was like at my most anger, annoyed place. We fought really bad. And I don't think we even fought really bad. It's just we broke stuff. We were making a lot of noise while we were arguing and fighting. Our neighbors called the cops. The cops took me, obviously, because Chris was the one with the bruises. Honestly, I didn't tell them like, oh, he gets very aggressive too. Like, he starts shit too. He talks to me this way or whatever. I didn't think they were going to care or believe me because we do have a difference in sizes. Like, I'm a lot bigger. He's the one with the bruises. And then he has like that goody two shoes face, like, que no rompe ni un plato. So I was like, whatever, they're not even gonna believe me if I say anything. I'll go to jail. It's okay. I was the aggressor. So after that, they put me in domestic violence classes. I went for a long time. I love those classes. I learned so much. I think the lady that gave those classes, like, I love that lady. She's so down to earth, and the way she explained things to me really resonated with me. I think it's because she was very, like I said, down to earth, and she was very, very relatable. Like, the way she explained things to me, I was able to grasp it and use it and apply it, and I live in now, like, everything that I've learned from there. So I'm very thankful for her. Had I gotten anybody else, I don't know if I would have finished the classes or if I would have actually learned it. So I'm thankful I got her. Everything that I learned, I took back home. After I got out of jail, like, me and Chris talked, and we made the decision to stay together and work on our marriage and work on ourselves. Mostly work on ourselves. That was my main goal. So with the help of these classes, I learned a lot. I learned how to cope with my emotions and cope with his emotions. It did take a long time, but we got there. I feel
a long time that I didn't think would ever
Yeah, I never. Yeah. I did not see the light at the end, but we got there. We crossed the tunnel, I feel like, now.
Yeah, and I learned a lot too with myself and what was my reasons too for even being so annoying and being aggressive, but over stupid shit, like the stupid shirt thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I wouldn't say insecure, but like I always felt like all our arguments were just happening. I felt like you just didn't love me the same or wanted to like really be with me anymore. So like I did like get jealous over every little fucking thing.
Yeah.
Which is
jealousy was a big issue too.
And not realizing that to just forget about it and let it go because you're still with me and to trust you more.
Yeah.
That, if you really didn't want to be with me, then you would straight up tell me or, end our relationship.
And you thought I wasn't telling you too.
Mm-hmm.
You would say that a lot to me, like, oh, you just don't want to leave me, you don't want to say whatever reason, and I'm like, dude, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, I understand.
And I realized, like, I was just driving myself crazy, like, looking back at it, it's like, why?
Yeah.
So I feel like anybody that has those thoughts and they're still with their partner, then just be straight up with each other, and you know what I mean, or just trust because they're still with you.
Yeah. The first thing I learned was to just be quiet. When Chris is in his mood and talking shit and like grumpy, I just stay quiet mostly. It's easier just to let him be annoyed and angry and whatever reason it is. Like, whatever his reasons to be annoyed or his reasons, I have nothing to do with them. Something that we learned was like our feelings are our own and our feelings are caused by thoughts, not by whatever the person is doing. So if I, like how you said, like you were being jealous for no reason, those are your thoughts and your feelings, and then you just projected those feelings onto me and you saw them as being true because you were looking for reasons. But if there was really no reasons, they're just like made up reasons in your mind. Learning how to control your thoughts and process your feelings is life-changing, and it's something that we all as human beings have to do.
Yeah, because living, you know what I mean, a life like all that, like uncontrolling and
violence and
it's
unnecessary violence.
Very, very like annoying and depressing and shitty to live. So I feel happier, and I know you feel happier processing everything more better and understanding. Like I don't know, it's more smoother the way it should be.
Yeah. And also like that just staying quiet and like letting people be and letting people be angry and whatever it is has helped me even at work.
Yeah.
Because before, like, people would piss me the fuck off because they were so rude and bitchy, and now I'm like, you must be having a bad day, it's fine. So I'll be like, they were talking shit to me, I'll be like, okay, well, have a good one, you fucking bitch, you know. Or thank you for calling me a hoe. Have a good day. I just let people be now. Whether it's anger, happiness, sadness, whatever, it's like, you gotta work on your feelings. I'm not your babysitter, I'm not your mama, I'm not your therapist. Even though I feel like I'm like your therapist a lot. But I just learned, like, learning how to cope with your feelings is like the best thing you can do for yourself and everyone around you.
And it feels good.
It feels really good to have that mental stability of like nothing affecting you, but not letting like dumb things like him waking up in a bad mood ruin my day.
Yeah.
Because that happened a lot. Like, Chris would wake up in his bad mood, bitch, and he would just bitch and bitch. Because Mark loves to talk shit.
I've been working on that. I've been better.
You flipped someone off today.
Well, that's because they were driving like an asshole. They could have hit me.
So when he was in a bad mood, at first I'd be like, oh my god, he woke up in a bad mood again. I just can't deal with this today. It's so fucking annoying. Like, you literally just woke up. How can you be in a bad mood? Like, you woke up you're living another day. Why are you angry? Why are you annoyed? So I would get so fucking pissed at that, and we would just fight. Like, literally first thing in the morning. It was like for breakfast we had a fight. We had a fight after dinner. It was so bad. But I learned to be like, okay, he's in a bad mood, I'll let him be. If in 2 hours it doesn't change, then I'll be like, babe, did you sleep? Did you not sleep good? Babe, do you want breakfast?
Oh, and especially our days out together were like a curse.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as our first day off, like, fuck,
yeah,
like,
we
what are we arguing about this time?
Yeah, we had to get our first fight in during the day, and then the rest of the week it was fine. But yeah, learning how to cope with your emotions and your feelings is very important. We learned so many things there. How to not be passive aggressive, how not to play a victim, how not to, because a lot of aggressors are like that because you let it, because you're playing a victim and you're doing things also. Like, a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of things you do. It's like a cause and effect thing. There's a lot of things that you do that trigger the other person. And now that I know Chris's triggers, I avoid them like the plague. So learning things about yourself and learning things about your partner very much helps those kind of situations. Now, I am very lucky that Chris wanted to work on himself as much as I wanted to work on himself, because had he not, I don't think we would be together today. And that literally breaks my heart, because I can't imagine like how we could have let this relationship go to shit and how good we are now, like, if we hadn't worked on each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we would have lost out had we not worked on ourselves. Yeah. So I'm very thankful for that. And with that, I do know that not everyone is that lucky. So if you're in a bad situation and you're doing everything you can first to change yourself and it's not working, because sometimes people see like all the hard work you put into yourself and it makes them change. It doesn't always happen. If you're doing everything you can, and not to keep the person, but to change yourself for the better, so maybe your relationship changes and it's not changing, then you're not in the right relationship. I know for a lot of people it's hard, because there's a lot of people that deal with like anxieties and mental health issues and emotional issues, which are all very valid. So a lot of people are scared to just like leave their homes or leave their somewhat stability. Some people like me that I didn't work for like the longest time, and it was so hard. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm so fat. I'm like this, I'm that. Like, I'm not gonna be able to like go work, and I'm gonna struggle. I mean, I was struggling already. So, I mean, what more can I was already at the bottom. There was no other place to go but that. So there is. There's always help. There's always someone that's willing to listen to you, whether it's domestic violence classes or a church, a friend, family member. Like, there's always someone there to help you, and
I'll go above and beyond, like, to help you out.
Yeah, there's always someone. You just have to go to the right person. Also, like, I don't want to blame my parents for like me being violent. There's always two ways you can go. You can see the violence and do it, or you can see the violence and be better and not want to be like that. I don't blame my parents for me being violent. I blame my parents for not teaching me how to process my feelings. Because when I was little, I would be sad. Stop crying. Why are you sad? You have no reason to be sad. This and that. When I was angry, shut the fuck up. You have no reason to be angry. Why are you mad? I should be mad, and this and that. They didn't, and obviously they can't teach me how to process my feelings because they didn't know how to process their own thoughts and feelings. So that I do blame my parents, because they didn't learn that and they didn't teach me that. And it's something that I'm like now trying to teach my niece and nephew. how to cope with their feelings, because they have a lot of anger issues too, but that's a whole another thing. Me mimicking my parents is my own fault, because I'm a grown ass fucking woman. If I'm putting my hands on someone, I'm doing it very consciously. I'm not gonna blame my parents for me hitting Mark, but I do blame my parents for not teaching me young how to cope with my feelings and process them. That's why I'm like, to me it's important that you guys understand that, like, learning how to control your thoughts and process your feelings is very important, especially if you have kids, because you have to teach kids how to do that, because if they don't learn how to do that, they're going to grow up to be abusive adults or have drug dependency issues or mental health issues. And I mean, why would you not want your kids to be like healthy and thriving and be productive people? So you have kids, teach them how to learn not tell them like anger is bad or you shouldn't be sad or don't be sad. Sadness is okay. Like, it's a normal human experience. Anger, sadness, happiness, any kind of feeling is normal for a human experience, and they should be allowed to express it. Just teach them how to express it in a healthy manner. Because being angry is okay, being sad is okay. What's not okay is putting your hands on someone because of your anger, and what's not okay is to mentally abuse someone because of your anger and your own thoughts and feelings. That is not okay. So as I feel like we have to teach our children how to cope with their feelings as much as we need to learn.
It sucks that like people like stay in situations like that for so long that it just becomes normal.
Yeah, so and I think that's why people stay in those situations long, because they don't know anything else. They're scared to go out in life and fail. They're scared of what's gonna happen, or like, I don't have a job, I don't have this, I don't have that. You'll find that with hard work, with dedication, with literally all you really need to do to change your life and be out of an abusive situation is to have that strength in you to want to leave, that desire to change your life. If you don't want to change your life and you don't want to change your mentality and change your ways, it's not going to happen. You have to want to change your life in order to grow. Because
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The faster you pull yourself out of that and know that it's not right, like what you're going through and what you're doing,
or what you're doing to people.
Yeah, the faster you know that it's not right, the faster you can improve and understand that like it's not right, and you don't have to be that way, and you don't have to take that.
Yeah, because a lot of aggressors do think like, oh, this is normal.
Like how you grew up, you know what I mean? Like, it's happened on and on and on, so it just, like, became comfortable and normal.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of people have mental health issues where like bipolar people and like schizophrenic people. Like, if you're someone that's bipolar and schizophrenic or whatever it is, that you know that their mental health is also part of it. Like, if they're not on medication and they're not willing to get on medication, they're not willing to like go that extra step to make themselves better, they're never gonna do it. They're not gonna do it for you. They're not gonna do it for kids. They're not gonna do it for their family. Just get out of it. It's not gonna happen. I don't know who needs to hear this, but bitch, if he keeps beating you and telling you, baby, I'm gonna change, and he doesn't, he never will. Never, never, ever, 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 ever. Go. I ran out of breath. Keep saying never.
Ever, 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 ever.
They're not gonna change. They don't want to. They're happy the way they are. And if you're not happy the way you are, change it. It's hard work. It's hard. It's stressful. It's sad. You're gonna go through all these emotions, but like I said, process them and you'll be better. So hopefully this story helps someone somewhere out there. We were able to, like I said, like learn all these techniques and things to better ourselves. And with us bettering ourselves, our relationship changed. We really didn't do, like, relationship-wise, we didn't do much difference. Like, we're still us. Just the way we handle our own emotions has changed, and that has changed our life. And the way we approach each other, and the way, like, we learn all our cues. I said, if Mark wakes up in a bitchy mood, I just leave him the fuck alone and let him be.
Or if Alejandro is pissed off at something, it's not me.
It's not you.
I always just think it was always me.
Yeah, that's why you would get so butthurt, because you thought it was like I was angry at you, or it was like I didn't love you, or I didn't want you, and it's none of that. It was just me. Like, I'm in a bad mood. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
And he finally learned to leave me alone. Kind of. You have. You're a lot better than you. Because that's what I need. Like, I give what he needed for me was to have a conversation and make, like, no, babe, it's not you. I love you. Just, stop. It's not right. Like, he just wanted me to, like...
Tell me that?
Yeah, say it. He just wanted to have a conversation. And I did not want to have a conversation. I wanted to be left alone. So what we do now is that if he really, really, really can't let go of whatever he's feeling and he has to talk to me about it, I tell him, like, I'm going to listen to you. Don't expect a conversation if I'm not ready. So I'll listen to him and it's like, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're thinking and feeling. I'm going to go to my room, process that, let me calm the fuck down, and when I'm ready, I'll come and talk to you. And that's what literally has worked for us. Just calm me down. Because at our anger, we just want to take, we don't give.
Yeah.
Like he wanted his feelings met, and I wanted my feelings met.
There's never clarity in anger.
Yeah.
Thinking. You're angry and you think like, oh, you're always so right, and no matter what you're saying and thinking, it's right when you're angry. But no, it's a whole different fucking mentality, and you're not the same. No.
So, like I said, hopefully this story helps someone out there. I think that's it. That's all I want to talk about. Like I said, domestic violence I grew up in it. I'm doing every day I'm doing everything I can to not be that person and make changes. And I practice what day.
What you're preaching?
Yeah. Every day I work on it. I work on myself. My mental health is my priority, has been for a couple months now. I'm just working on myself so I can be better, so Chris can be better.
And your mental health is very important.
Yeah.
That's your main priority.
I can't stress that.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. Mental health and learning how to cope and process is the key to happy life.
Yeah.
All right, before I go, I just wanted to ask you guys if you guys can do a little appreciation post or comment for Karen and Anna. They're working very, very hard in this pandemic to keep all our customers safe and have the store clean and everything ready. They're working overtime and they're very, very stressed out. Like I said before, people do not want to be helped. People do want to be taken care of. They don't want us to tell them stay 6 feet apart. They get really mad. So they are going through it. Give them a little thank you or an appreciation post down below in our comments, or go to our Facebook page or Instagram page and comment there. They really, really need some cheering up, and I'm very thankful that they let me record this episode on my own, because to me it was very important, especially in this situation where we're all locked up together. Hopefully they're back next week. I think we figured out how to record while practicing social distancing and the quarantine. So see you guys next week. Hopefully we see them next week. Thank you guys for listening.